Today I wanted to dive into a couple of the trends that I have been eyeing for this year, and specifically two that are really impacting how I'm thinking about growing my portfolio career this year. So the first one of those is this idea of thinking in public as an evolution to building in public. And interestingly, this is something that I have kind of intuitively been doing over the last couple of years on Substack. Not explicitly, not with a strategic goal in mind. It is more just my style. Like if you actually go back and look at some of my old Substack posts, there's a lot of frameworks and thinking around portfolio career strategy that I've shared that was actually not fully formed thinking. And it's so funny, like I go back and look at some of my old posts now and I'm like, oh, that doesn't land with me anymore, or that was a really poorly formed idea, or that framework actually doesn't fully make sense. But even though it kind of gives me a little bit of cringe, it is interesting to see the evolution of my thinking in real time. And I have been thinking about this in 2026 as a continued approach to my content, but also kind of really explicitly as a strategy for lead generation. Because recently I've had a number of leads come into my consulting and advisory business from industries that I actually don't have any experience in. So I really focus on working with consumer brands, particularly beauty, wellness, health, etc., and also a little bit in tech. And I've had a bunch of leads come into my business that are not consumer and not tech. And it's been really interesting talking to these founders and kind of just trying to understand why they've reached out to me and what they are looking for from me. And every single person that I've met over the last few months has mentioned that they reached out because they want to work with me because they understand how I think and approach problems. The only way that people understand how I think and approach problems is because I'm narrating my thinking process in real time, and I'm narrating my decisions. I'm building IP and frameworks in real time. I talk about how I approach my own portfolio career, problems with clients, things that I'm seeing in the startup space, or my own experience working in startups and how I'm applying that to my own business. So my thinking and my judgment as well is visible to people. And it's interesting. I don't know what it is like the last few months, but it's very cemented to me that that type of content and that type of approach to being visible and showing up online, which by the way, is not perfect, is not polished. It's actually a little bit scrappy and messy inherently because you're thinking out loud essentially. But that is driving leads to my consulting business. The second one I wanted to talk about is the rise of intellectually driven high value creators. And again, actually this whole observation is directing my content strategy a little bit. I think when you're consistently showing up online, like I have been for the last couple of years, and particularly when you start to foray into like the TikTok platform, it can be very easy to like find yourself in this mindset of I have to be relentless, I have to post every single day, I need to chase virality, I need to research the best hooks, I need to like engineer my content to get seen. And I guess there is some of that, you know, in all types of content, particularly short form content where attention spans are like this. But having that mindset has, I don't know, it just has put me in a headspace that I don't really enjoy. I am very driven by wanting to share the ideas that I have and impact people in hopefully a positive way. And I feel like this kind of content treadmill approach, particularly with short form, is like really the antithesis to that. And so this year, I'm still on TikTok and Instagram, and obviously I'm giving YouTube a bit of a crack as well. So I'm still on these platforms, but my objective with content is to just share things that I think will be valuable in a really organic way. And so I'm sort of shifting the question that I ask myself every time I share something from, will this perform? Will this go well to, is this actually useful and valuable? And like, what is somebody taking away from what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to be much more intentional as a content creator, but I'm also, my objective is to become far more intentional as a content consumer. And I actually just wanted to share this because it's been amazing. So I bought one of these things, it's called a brick, a few weeks ago. And basically it's like this little device, you get the app on your phone and it's this physical device which I put on the fridge. And you can basically program your phone to lock out certain apps at certain time periods or whatever it might be. And the only way that you can unlock your phone is physically going to this device and tapping it. And so my poor phone habits are at night before bed, I can scroll for way longer than I should, which means I have a crap sleep. And first thing in the morning, like I roll over and literally pick up my phone and start scrolling. So I have bricked my phone or locked my phone from 8 p.m. each night until midday the following day, meaning that all social apps, my emails, everything pretty much except for, messages and calls and stuff, I can't access from 8 p.m. all the way through to midday the following day. And my idea is like, I want to have a clear mind at night so that I have a good sleep. And I'm blocking out the first half of the day for deep thinking and creative work and, strategy and stuff where I need a really clear brain. I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks and my phone time has plummeted. So if you want a New Year's resolution for 2026, I would highly recommend this brick. It's like, there's something about having a physical device that you have to intentionally walk across the house to unlock your phone, which for me anyway has stopped me from actually making that action and doing that. And it's been phenomenal. So I would highly recommend. So I wanted to share 2 of these insights and how I'm kind of applying them to my own business in 2026, largely because I know a lot of people that read my newsletter and probably watch this YouTube video are thinking about showing up online and being visible to build a professional reputation or wanting to build some kind of community online. And I strongly believe that when it comes to content creation, less is more. Intentional and considered is far better than viral and of the moment. And I also think that mindset takes a bit of the pressure off, because if the goal is literally to show up as yourself and try and add value to people, you can't lose. That's been my experience anyway. And it's something that I'm leaning more and more into in 2026. Anyway, that is it for the first post of 2026. I hope you have a wonderful January. I hope you have a wonderful year, and I will see you next week.